Hi, let's read about Indian economy today. Highlights of Indian economy. As on 30th June 2020, COVID-19 has spread into more than 200 countries including India, with total number of confirmed cases exceeding 1 crore and the virus claiming more than 5 lakhs lives. As on 30th June, COVID-19 in India has infected 5,82,147 people and claimed 17,322 lives. India imposed a strict lockdown from 25th March 2020. April 2020 was the month of economic standstill, with restrictions on various activities eased in May 2020. As restrictions were further eased, the country entered the unlock phase in June 2020. Owing to this unprecedented COVID-19 induced supply demand shocks, IMF's June 2020 WEO update projects growth of India's output at minus 4.5% in 2020-2021 and that of world's at minus 4.9%. Within a period of 2 months, India, starting from scratch, has become the world's second largest manufacturer of personal protective equipment. RBI reduced the repo rate by 75 basis point or BPS to 4.4% and further to 4% in May, and injected huge amount of liquidity of approximately 3.9% of GDP. To provide immediate cash support to the needy, more than 42 crore poor people have so far received financial assistance of rupees 65,454 crore under the scheme Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana. In May 2020, government, adding to its past measures and that of RBI, announced a consolidated stimulus package of rupees 20 lakh crore. The stimulus package was pivoted on Atmanirbhar Bharat, wherein MSMEs received a huge financial package in terms of collateral-free debt, guarantee for subordinate debt through funds of funds and interest subvention scheme. Fiscal policy impact as on 26th June. Recorded food grain production at 29.5.67 million tons in 2019 3.7% higher than last year. 113 lakh metric tons or LMT of food grains lifted by 36 states and union territories. Procurement of wheat from farmers touched an all-time record figure of 385.6 lakhs metric tons or LMT, surpassing the earlier record of 381.48 LMT achieved during 2012-13. Minimum support price rupees 73,500 crore to 42 lakhs farmers towards MSP for wheat, thereby alleviating the added rural distress due to the reverse migration of people from cities amid the pandemic. Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, financial assistance of rupees 65,454 crore to more than 42 crore poor family. Garib Kalyan Rozgar Abhiyan, rupees 50,000 crore for building durable rural infrastructure. 116 districts identified in 6 states of Bihar, UP, MP, Rajasthan, Jharkhand and Odisha. Large concentration of returning migrant workers. Monetary policy impact as on 27th June. Repo rate cut by 115 basis points since 27 March 2020, amounting to a total cut of 250 basis points since the easing cycle began in February 2019. Reverse repo rate cut by 155 bps since 27 March 2020 to 22nd May, with asymmetric cuts aimed at using LAF corridor as an instrument of monetary policy. Rupee on average, after depreciating by 2.5% from March 2020, where INR or rupee was in terms of USD was 74.3 to April, where it was 76.2, moderated to INR USD in 75.6 in May and continued at INR USD 75.7 as on 26 June 2020. FDI in India recorded inflow of USD 73.45 billion in financial year 2019-20, an increase of 18.5% over the previous fiscal. India's forex reserves at USD 505.6 billion as on 19th June continue to provide a crucial cushion to external shocks on the back of higher FDI, portfolio flows and low oil prices. Increase in FDI limit in defense sector from 49% to 74%, boosting private participation in power distribution in union territories and in the space sectors, would also work in the same direction. Index of industrial production. Prior to COVID-19, Index of Industrial Promotion or IIP rebounded from negative growth in Q3 2019-20 to 2.2% in January 2020 and 4.6% in February 2020, the highest level observed since July 2019. The sharpest supply shock was witnessed in April, the month of lockdown, with IIP declining by a record 55.5% in April 2020. The ubiquity of COVID-19 supply shock was witnessed in 8 core industries, also registering sharply negative -38.1% growth in April 2020 as compared to 5.2% in April 2019. All 8 industries experienced a broad-based decline with the sharpest contractions in cement -86% and steel -83.9%. Contraction in 8 core industries, however, moderated in May to -23.4%, with fertilizer production increasing by 7.5% in May 2020 over May 2019. Purchasing Managers Index, a PMI manufacturing for April 2020, also recorded its sharp deterioration to 27.4, spreading across all components. PMI services also plunged into an all-time low of 5.4% with gradual relaxation in lockdown restriction May onwards. PMI manufacturing and services moderately recovered to 30.8 and 12.6 respectively in May. Trade deficit. India's trade deficit stood at USD 3.1 billion in May 2020, the lowest recorded trade deficit since February 2009. Exports. After recording an abysmal YoY fall of 60.2% in April 2020, India's merchandise exports contracted by a lower 36.5% in May. Iron ore, drugs and pharmaceuticals, chemicals, spices, and rice were positive contributors to exports growth in May. Imports. India's top five imports, namely petroleum, crude and products, electronic goods, gold, pearls, precious and semi-precious stones and coals were positive contributors to import growth prior to COVID-19 outbreak. After recording 59.6% YoY decline in April, India's imports continued to contract by 51.1% in May 2020. Sharply negative contribution of imports of crude oil and petroleum products accentuated from -27% in April to -37% in May. Fiscal situation. COVID-19 has also impacted government fiscal revenues as per provisional accounts or PA data of central government finances for 2019-20. The fiscal deficit for 2019-20 PA stood at rupees 9.4 lakh crore, which is 4.6% of GDP. 0.8% point higher than the revised estimate. Fiscal deficit stood at rupees 4.7 lakh crore till May 2020, which is 58.6% of BE compared to 52.0% during May 2019. Revenue receipts registered a negative growth of 68.9%. Corporation tax registered a massive growth of 1408.1% over May 2019 and stood at 2.5% of BE. Personal income tax stood at 5.6% of BE compared to 10.6% till May 2019. Non-tax revenue up to May 2020 turned out to be less than 62% of the level till May 2019. On the expenditure side, the capital expenditure increased by 15.7% relative to May last year, whereas revenue expenditure fell by 1.9% over May 2019 and stood at 17.4% of BE. Insofar as actual borrowings in financial year 2020-2021 are concerned, Centre's gross marketing borrowing up to 19th June 2020 stood at rupees 2,82,000 crore, 51% higher than corresponding last year levels. Net borrowings were 12.3% higher than last year levels. Agriculture and allied activities contribution to growth may be significant on the back of an increase of 3.7% in food grains production to a new record. As per the third advance estimates of the Ministry of Agriculture released on May 15, 2020, procurement of wheat from farmers by government agencies has touched an all-time record figure of 388.3 lakh metric tons or LMT on 30th June 2020, surpassing the earlier record of 381.48 LMT achieved during 2012. 13.42 lakhs farmers have been benefited with total amount of about rupees 73,500 crore having been paid to them towards minimum support price or MSP for wheat. As on 26 June 2020, Kharif sowing was higher by 104.3% over last year's acreage with a big jump in area cover under oilseeds, pulses, cotton and coarse cereals. Fertilizer sales have surged by almost 98% year on year in May 2020, reflecting a robust agricultural sector. Growth outlook. India's real GDP growth rate was 4.2% in 2019-20 as per the provisional estimate released by the National Statistical Office compared to 6.1% recorded in previous year. Nominal GDP for the year is estimated at rupees 203.4 lakh crore, lower as compared to the budget estimates. This may be attributed to lower growth in quarter 4 of 2019-20 due to the global surge of spread of COVID-19 to the global spread of COVID-19 since January 2020 and subsequent lockdown measures across countries including India. Real GDP growth rate in quarter 4 of 2019-20 was at 3.1%, a 2.6 percent point drop from growth rate in 2018-19. Overall inflation as measured by the GDP deflator for 2019-20 works out at 2.9% lower than 4.6% in 2018-19. Growth of real gross value added or GVA at basic prices was at 3.9% in 2019-20 as compared to 6.0% in 2018-19. Real GVA growth has declined in almost all sectors except agriculture and allied, mining and quarrying, and public administration, defense and other services in 2019-20. Given the immense uncertainty associated with infection and macroeconomic recession curves of countries across the world, IMF in its World Economic Outlook June 2020 report has downward revised global world growth to minus 4.9% in 2020, 1.9 percentage points lower than its April 2020 forecast. In line with the downward revision of global growth, India's growth has been forecast at minus 4.5% in 2020, a 6.4 percentage point downward revision compared to the April 2020 forecast. Electricity consumption saw lower contraction in growth rates from minus 24% in April to minus 15.2% in May to minus 11.3% in June till 20th June. Consumption of petroleum products, a major indicator reflecting consumption and manufacturing activity in the country, increased by 47% from 9.37 lakh metric tons in April to 146.46 lakh metric tons in May. Consequently, year-on-year contraction in consumption growth of petroleum product was much smaller at minus 23.2% in May as against minus 45.7% in April. Railway freight traffic improved by 26% in May, that is 8.26 crore tons over April, 6.54 crore tons, though still lower than previous year levels. Thank you.